And without further ado, we'll move on to the next session, Revamping Wealth Management through Digitalization. And I would request Mr. G. Senthil, Chief Business Development Officer, KFin Technologies, to please join me on the train. A big round of applause for him, everyone.
Very good afternoon, all of you. Today, I'll be taking you through the most interesting topic, revamping wealth management to digitalization. So, first of all, before getting into digitalization aspect, let's understand this wealth management industry as a whole. So today we see there is a significant amount of growth, especially in the ultra HNI category. Not only the ultra HNI, the HNI, the median net worth individuals, and more importantly, the mass affluent. So earlier, this particular industry was catered only by large private banks, but now that's not the scenario. So you have wide array of distributors who are catering to the wealth management segment. It is starting from your boutique wealth management outfits, large private banks, your single family offices, and multi-family offices. So what is very, very critical at this juncture is the digital transformation. So because you are dealing with customers who are like high net worth, okay? The most important aspect is today, are we seeing that kind of a digital transformation? The answer is partly yes and partly no. Today, the digital transformation in wealth management is very similar to what we have seen in e-commerce about 20 years back, or the retail industry, which saw the inflection point about 15 years back. The same cusp of breakthrough is what we are seeing in the wealth management. But there is a lot of transitions which are happening, but it's still a long way to go. So let me take a small example. All of us have been investing in mutual funds. Okay, the last 4 to 5 years, the mutual fund industry has added almost 50% of new customers into the industry. This is purely by digital transformation because today 19,000 PIN codes have access to mutual funds. So which means broadly the entire universe of Indian landscape is investing in mutual funds. So for a person who is investing in mutual funds, you have mobility applications, you have a tracker, you have a transaction platform to do with, but somebody like a large investor, a LP who is investing 5 crores, there is no applications or there is no mobility platforms which are available in the market currently. So that is the main point of discussion today. And I'll cover through the following areas like where it needs transformation and what are the reasons for this transformation and how this transformation is going to happen going forward. The most important part is the digital maturity. See, today, like what happens is like most of the advisors whom we discuss, everybody says that, okay, we are dealing with high net worth individuals. So there needs to be a high touch industry. So there has to be close proximity with the investors. So that doesn't come at the cost of high tech. So what needs to be taken care is a blended approach in terms of high touch and high tech. So every advisor has to have his technological skills or technical tools to advise these clients. So there are umpteen number of technology products which are available to advise the wealth management customers. See, more importantly, today, like what is happening is the products are not simpler. Earlier, it used to be fixed deposits. So then wealth managers were distributing mutual funds. Today, it has gone beyond like your fixed deposits or mutual funds. There is a wide array of products to exotic alternate investments funds, your separately managed accounts, or your derivative products or credit derivatives, whether it is structured credit or high yield. So the advisor needs to have the tools and technology to advise client. It is not only about showing the performance or XIRR to the client, it needs to be more granular in terms of explaining the risk, the return aspects, and more importantly, in terms of attribution, where the returns are coming from, where the risk is coming. So the attribution becomes a very, very critical part of the analysis. So the need for digital transformation. So we are talking about wealth management industry needs to be transformed. What is the need for this digital transformation? See, today if you see almost like 60-70% of the global wealth is with baby boomers and Gen X professionals. So they hold larger chunk of the global wealth. And the estimates are that like close to about $50 trillion of intergenerational wealth is going to get transferred, which means most of these the baby boomers and Gen X would retire, and 50 trillion, excess of 50 trillion will be transferred as an intergenerational transfer to the next generation. And the second point to note is the incremental number of high net worth individuals who are emanating are the millennials. So typically millennials will form almost close to about 70-80% of the wealth management industry. So it is very critical to serve these millennials with the digital innovation, because these millennials have seen this kind of transformation not only in wealth management, but there are other industries as well. See, take the similar industry like banking. Retail banking has seen a huge transformation. Insurance has seen a huge digital transformation, whereas wealth management is just picking up in terms of digital transformation. So that should happen at a faster pace and will happen. Okay. So now, what are the challenges which are precisely faced by wealth managers? Okay, we talked about digital transformation. Digital transformation needs to happen, but what are the inherent challenges? So today, what happens is, even if you go to a large wealth management outfits, what has happened is there are multiple disparate systems which have been placed. Suppose a wealth management outfit may have a broking firm, may have an NBFC arm, may have an alternate investment fund, may have a PMS. So what has happened is, over a period of time, different set of systems or subsystems or satellite systems have been created, and there is no common data layer for integrating these systems. So today, what is critical for a wealth manager to showcase to the investor is, unless they have a common data layer across all these subsystems, you will not be able to come out with analytics. So that is why the real challenge is, and most of the wealth managers are now creating this common data layer or data lake across their subsystems, and having an integrated system, end-to-end system, which provides the common advisory across all the products and all the subsystems. And more importantly, disconnected workflows. This is again one big challenge which the wealth managers are facing. See, over the period, if you see, the regulations have changed. The transaction possibility or the transaction mechanisms have changed. But what has happened is, like, the wealth managers or the platform providers, they have created certain workflows, and over a period of time, they have tinkered around the existing workflows or provided patches rather than re-innovating it. So today, the new technological platforms which have been launched or coming up will encompass all the older technological aspects and workflows, plus the newer workflows and transaction engines which will come in place. So this is what I talked about, the unified and front end to back end. So right from your order management to visualization, what the client sees has to be integrated. It cannot be a bespoke, separate platform. And more importantly, when I talk about platforms, it's not only for the clients to visualize, it's both for the advisors. So today, advisor plays a very critical role in the wealth management. So he does maximum analysis to the client. So the advisor also should have in-depth analytical skills and tools to analyze the portfolios on behalf of the client. So which is possible once you have an integrated platform. So I would like to spend little more time on this. So this is the value chain which we are talking about for the wealth management system. So there are various departments in wealth management. It is not only today when we talk about wealth management, we just think about a sales person or a banker who comes and advises. But there are a lot of back-end functions which operate within the wealth management space, and there are various business functions. Today, what is happening is, like, 50% of the onboarding used to happen through physical mode. Whereas in a mutual fund, if you see, like, a retail investor who is investing, everything is digital. That adoption is changing. Today, like, the client onboarding has become very, very seamless. It's a pure digital, right from your application, the OCR, ICR, your Aadhaar-based authentication, signature. So everything, it's like you don't have to put a pen and paper to filling the application form. It is completely digital. Even the documentation process is completely digital. And more importantly, AML and FATCA KYC, this has become very, very critical. See, earlier days, like about 6-7 years back, when you have to do an AML check, you'll have to visit various databases to check whether the client has a positive hit or not. Today, just by click of the button, I can just check whether it's a AML hit, or if it is a false positive, what is the reasons for this AML. So all those things are happening at a click of the button. So because of this, what is happening is the onboarding process, which used to take about an hour or so, is now getting over in less than 3 minutes. The journey gets over in less than 3 minutes. And more importantly, the interactive dashboards and reports which comes out of the systems. Today, these wealth managers are exposed to different kind of products. Like, it could be the cash flow mechanisms could be different, like what Ashwin spoke about on the alternative side. Each of the alternatives, whether it's a cat one or a credit fund or a long short fund, the cash flows are completely different. So you'll have to model these cash flows and come out with risk and return analytics for the client. So that is completely automated now. And more importantly, the onset of account aggregation. So now these most of the wealth managers are FIUs in the account aggregator space, and this is going to have a very seminal change in the entire landscape of wealth management industry. The data flows are going to be much more seamless than before. So once the account aggregator construct, see we at KFin Tech as an RTA, we have already started integrating with few of the account aggregators. Maybe in 3 to 6 months time, you'll see the data flows happening from the RTAs or custody or any other service provider to the wealth managers will become much more seamless, and within fraction of second the data transfer happens. And these are the full modules or set of modules which a wealth management platform should have. Most of the wealth management platforms would have few things, but like what is more important is analytics is very common. Everybody has analytics, so it's like there is no end to say like which is good or bad. But the analytics should cover, as I told you, it should cut across all the subsystems, not only on the backend systems. And more importantly, one should have clear-cut integrations. See, integrations are very critical. So you need to have integrations with custody. If you are a family office, you need to have integrations with bank custody, RTA, exchanges, so that like the data flow happens and you will have data visualization and real-time data more effectively. And in terms of performance measurement, so when I talk about performance measurement, everybody talks about returns. Returns is one aspect of performance measurement. So there is risk element also. See, today most of the platforms provide return attributes, few risk ratios have been mentioned. But what is more important is the attribution. Whether your fixed income portfolio or equity portfolio, where is the return coming from? Whether it is because of fund manager skill or it is because of any other reason, whether it's stock selection or sector rotation. So both for your fixed income portfolios as well as the equity portfolios, the attribution analysis is very, very critical, which many of the platforms fail to provide. And now that has been embedded in most of the wealth management platforms. And now, apart from distribution, advisory is also a critical part. So your investment portfolio statement, that is in IPS, risk profiler, alert mechanism. Suppose you have set some sort of limits, for example, sector limit, 10% limit. So if there is an active breach or passive breach of those limits, that has to be triggered. Otherwise, your limits, you will keep on investing and you will never know whether you have crossed that limit. So all these mechanisms are built into the platform. And one important aspect which most of the wealth management platforms are building up is the portfolio stress testing and scenario analysis and what if analysis. So this is a predictive analysis. You have a lot of structured data and unstructured data. So using this unstructured and structured data, you get into some time series regression analysis and come with some sort of prediction where the valuations could be and what are the asset classes which you should look at considering the market as well as your overall portfolio. And more importantly, scenario and stress testing. So today what happens is like a lot of people have been investing in alternatives or fixed income portfolios. So everybody has an interest rate outlook. So what happens if there's interest rate cut or interest rate increases? What is going to be your impact on your overall portfolio? So that is what is stress testing. So how much stress are you providing on your portfolio? Interest rate is one parameter. It could be multiple parameters. So you can stress each and every aspect of your parameters and see what is going to be your portfolio impact. So this is one of the very critical tool in your wealth management platforms. And more importantly, it is not your standalone valuation which matters the most. It's the relative view. So you have various integrations with third-party providers like Value Research, Morningstar, CRISIL, ICRA. So that will help you to analyze in terms of how your portfolio is positioned relative to the market. So what are the market-related attributes are also. And more importantly, today wealth managers or the ultra high net worth individuals are not exposed to only domestic equities or domestic bonds. There are a lot of clients who are investing in multi-geography, multi-asset class and multi-currency. So the platform has to be very much robust to calculate the currency effects and also give out reports in whether it's US GAAP or IFRS pertaining to different cross-currency and cross-country investments. So with this one last thing, so these are the key digital trends which we are seeing in wealth management. One is cloud transformation. So this is one big bottleneck in the wealth management industry, because most of the large wealth managers, especially who are global wealth managers, so they are very resistant to move to clouds, and still, even though the cost is going to be very high, most of them are in on-prem solutions. So which would change over a period of time, because your cost and in terms of giving better analytics is far better in cloud. So then your AI, ML, and blockchain is disrupting the wealth management industry. Predictive analytics, I just spoke about. Then cyber security is very, very critical, because the volumes of data and volumes of this client information which you are dealing is very, very high. And client security and cyber security is of paramount importance. And lastly, the unified platform. You need to have a unified platform. You cannot have a front end, back end platforms and integrating through various means. It's not the right method. You need to have a single unified platform. And even though robo advisory, it's still in the nascent stage in India, whereas globally robo advisory has been pretty successful. If you see firms like Betterment, Wealthfront, or Charles Schwab, so they've done a great job in terms of robo advisory, creating robo advisory platforms. Whereas in India, still, even though it started about 7, 8 years back, but still we are in nascency. So this is all about the wealth management disruption which we are going to see in near future. More than happy to take any questions. Yeah.
So why do you think the robot rise did not take off in India despite so much of hype? We do we still say then now that without human touch, there's no great advisory? Are we accepting that fact, or we say no, there's still great future available for robot advisory, especially for the small ticket size only?
See, I will just dissect this question into two parts. See, robo advisory, in a way, in retail, or I would say like mass affluent segment, still has picked up in India. So like Scriptbox. So they came up with the retail platform where like your SIPs or anything can be advised based on goal based. All those things have been very popular on the retail space. But on the wealth management space, on the contrary, if you see, it's still a human touch, the private banker, or so I can't see today, like, see, that's the effort which Aditya has been taking in terms of creating a virtual family office where, like, it's all through digital. So you will bring the players, different service providers in one forum, and you have the option to choose. So that is the initial step. But as we speak, I don't recollect any robo advisory platform in India to cater to high net worth individuals. So today, like somebody who's investing who still wants to have a banker or a private banker to advise, or any other distributor to advise them. But definitely, robo advisory has started inching up on the retail space. So if there are no other questions, thank you.
Once again, a big round of applause for him, everyone. And I would request Miss Janie Shah to please come here for the felicitation. A big round of applause for her. Energy, everyone, a big round of applause. Thank you.